I just turned 27 yesterday, and I'm going to share with you 27 things that I did before I turned 27 that I think any creator or man should do to live their best version of their life. So if you want to level up and be proud of your early 20s, follow along. I have a list pulled up here in a Google Doc that I just wrote down of 27 things that I'm super proud and glad that I did, and I think most people should do. First and foremost is building a business that allows you the lifestyle you want. So, of course, business is hugely focused on making money, which it should be, but also not sacrificing things that you're not willing to sacrifice. For me, I find so much peace and freedom in the ability to travel and do what I want when I want. So building an online business for me was just an absolute no-brainer. It taught me so many skills. It's allowed me time, location, financial freedom, and even creative freedom. I think business is something that if you're a young, ambitious man before 27, try to start one. It's literally so easy nowadays to start a business. You can do it online for practically free. There is no sense in not at least trying and seeing if being an entrepreneur is for you. There's really no con. You just kind of learn and you can make a whole bunch of money doing it. Now, I think the next thing is something that I didn't really value super heavily early on, but traveling somewhere new, getting out of your hometown and just traveling. This is a great first step for people that are maybe a little cautious and just like their familiar environment, which I think a lot of people tend to do, including myself. But something that I did early in my 20s was started traveling. After I had that business and that freedom, I took advantage of it. And at first it was just like California and just a few spots in the US, and then eventually went overseas and to Europe and Asia and all of that. But just starting out and getting out of your hometown and experiencing new cultures, new people, new environments can be really, really motivating, but also force you to grow as a person a lot. Now with that, I think after you've done a little bit of traveling, moving out of your hometown is a must. In your early 20s, it's very easy if you stay in your hometown, if you stay where you live, where you grew up, to stay there forever. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing where you have to move away from your friends and family forever and never come back. I'm currently back where I grew up after moving to California, Arizona, Tampa, and then doing like a 3-month stay in Bali. So I have lived a bunch of different places now, and it's forced me to grow so much as a person, understand new cultures, problem solving, just being in a new environment, meeting new friends. It really pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I think don't think about it as much of like, this is a forever move, because I think that's something that I had in my mind, but more so of something as like, this is going to force me to grow. And if I ever want to go back to my hometown, I can easily do it. You can always go back, right? But it's really easy to get trapped somewhere if you never take that first step. Now with this, if you're like super scared to move across the country, the first time I really did it was college. And then I really figured out college wasn't for me and dropped out a year later. But I moved with one of my childhood best friends. But the second time I like truly moved without school was to LA, and I lived in the Hollywood Hills in a beautiful spot, like literally like right in front of the Hollywood Hill sign. But it was with 4 other dudes, and we just all lived in a living room, and we'd like blow up air mattresses and like sleep on the couch, and then we'd like clean everything up and then have our work area. So number 4 is live with a group of people that are similar to you. And it forces you to like really be on your shit. Like when you're around people that like want to be successful and are hungry and are motivated to do the same thing, you just level up so much. It's a huge experience of community, but it's also like a bunch of chaos, and like it's not, every day is definitely not enjoyable, especially when you're living in a living room and setting up air mattresses every night. But it's an experience that like I will have forever and I'll be able to share forever. And that period of my life, I leveled up so quickly. And honestly, like a lot of the stuff that I'm going to share in this list is a lot of stuff that like is stories and experiences. Like I want to have sick dad lore and uncle lore and stuff. And honestly, moving in with a group of dudes in the Hollywood Hills in a living room is like one of the coolest things ever. Like that's a sick story that I'm going to have forever. And it was just still a small period of my life, but I'll have that story forever. Now, the next one is something that I think a lot of young guys are being pushed away from nowadays, but is really important. I think finding a partner that pushes you to be a better version of yourself and motivates you and moves you forward is huge. I have an amazing, beautiful girlfriend that has a lot of shared interests in faith, in self-development, in going to the gym, being healthy, going on walks, reading, doing a lot of stuff that's great. Like, it pushes me to be a better person. When you're around someone in a relationship, you should be getting better, is my philosophy. If you hang around with your girlfriend and you find yourself not doing anything productive ever, or not becoming the best version of yourself, you're probably going to slip. So it's important to find that person that not only you can have the fun times with, and it doesn't always have to be self-improvement stuff, but you have to be able to be the best version of yourself around them as well. So that was number 5. Number 6 is spending time with friends and family. This is something that I also think is very, very overlooked in your early 20s, especially if you're in the grind hustle culture. It's really easy to get lost in, oh, I need to make more money. I want to, build this dream life and all this stuff. And I think I'm very blessed and fortunate to be in a position where I actually had my father pass away from ALS when I was 7. And it, as unfortunate it is, it really gave me the perspective of like, your friends and family members, especially the older ones, aren't going to be around forever. And you should enjoy and spend time with those people early on in life because they're in great health. And, I don't take for granted any relationship with my family, my mom, my grandma, all of that, because I know, one day they won't be here. And if you're only focused on leveling up financially or building your life, which I think you should be, focused on it a little bit, but if you're only focused on that, time can slip away, and before you know it, your time with them is gone. So spending time with friends and family is something that I'm super glad I did and continue to do for the rest of my life. But in my early 20s, just having those memories and the stories with friends and family is huge. Now, the next one, 7, is donate or give gifts. And this is something that I'm honestly still working on. This is something I've done fairly new. But giving thoughtful gifts to your friends and family members and people you love and care for, and then donating your time or money or items to charity or people in need. It's selfishly makes you feel really good, but it's also something that can really have a great impact on the people that you care about or people that are in need. When I was in Bali, even just as something as simple as an extra $10 as a tip to a driver there, because the US dollar is so strong, can be so impactful. And to me, I probably won't notice the $10 gone ever. And to them, it can be a huge relief financially. And, just seeing the smile and people being so gracious after you give is really great. So donating and giving gifts is something that I think will shape you as a person. It'll make you feel really good, but it will also help a lot of people. Now with that, with giving and donating, rewarding your milestones, and I think something that I struggle with is not rewarding myself enough. And one thing that I did that was materialistic and a huge reward is the car that I'm currently in. I bought this car, and funny enough, I think it's one of the greatest things I've done because it shaped the way I viewed money a lot, but also taught me a lot of lessons by just buying it. I actually bought this car with my debit card. I bought it cash, so there's no payment on it or anything. And looking back, probably not I don't know, whatever. There's better uses for money. But with that being said, it was a really cool experience because at the time I just had money sitting in my bank account. I was doing well, I was investing. And the only thing that's stopping me from getting this car was literally putting a piece of plastic in a machine and then driving off with the car. And it was something that really is obvious to most people, right? You can buy stuff with your money, but I come from a spot where, not having much money and saving and investing. When I did buy the car, I was like, wow, you can just use the skills that you have and the money you have to buy things. And it was really, really eye-opening, but it also on a different level made me feel satiated to some extent with money, because I realized after buying this car, super fancy, luxurious. It's an AMG GLE 53. I wrapped in this beautiful mocha brown. It's an incredible car. But I realized after buying this car that like the nicer, slightly more expensive, better car wouldn't like fulfill me more. And I will definitely have nicer cars and a nice house and all the cool material things, but not having that sense of your only fulfillment in buying stuff, because I think that's kind of like a never ending game, and that can be really exhausting and put you in a bad spot as well. So, rewarding yourself, but also figuring out like doing like, I think in your early 20s, buy something materialistic that's fancy and expensive that maybe doesn't make sense for the sake of being like, wow, okay, that was cool, but like now I understand like it's not only about money and it's not only about material things, but also rewarding yourself. With that being said, because I bought that was number 8. Reward yourself for milestones, buy material things. Number 9 is invest early. I think one thing I did really, really well was when I started making money, or even before I started making money, I was always investing, just not in stocks and crypto like I currently do, but more so in myself. So early on, if you're early in the journey, invest in yourself. Education, getting a gym membership, taking care of your mental health, reading, going on walks, investing in yourself. But then also when you start to make money, find a way to make your money work for you. So for me, it's been stocks and crypto. For other people, it's real estate. There's a bunch of different ways to invest, but take time to educate yourself and set aside a good portion of your income to investing, because it's going to give you so much freedom later down the line in life. I've had a whole bunch of freedom and a whole bunch of money stress gone away because the money I've made, I've done a really good job preserving it and duplicating it through investments. It's a true way to wealth, and it's something I'm going to do forever. And I'm super grateful. I think if there was like one really, really standing out thing that I could put out on this list, is investing early, not only in yourself, but financially. With that being said, the way you can do that is living below your means. For example, when I was living in the Hollywood Hills, I had my first $1,000 day through my digital product store online. Like, I was making great money, over 6 figures a year while I was there, but I was living rent-free in the Hollywood Hills, sleeping on an air mattress, just to be more submerged, more in that environment. And it was great. I was around a bunch of people, met some really talented people and artists. I met like Kid Leroy and Trevor Daniel and, some really good lifelong friends like my friends Half and a bunch of other people. I was living so far below my means and also getting incredible experiences. So there's ways you can still enjoy life with living below your means, because living below my means allowed me to then take all that money and invest it in the stocks, invest it in crypto, invest it in myself, instead of just keeping up with, I have a car payment, I have a rent payment, I have all these things, and then I have this little bit left over for myself. I basically flipped that and had basically no payments, and then all the money left over to invest in myself, in my business. And that's something that I'm super, super grateful for as well. So number 10, live below your means. Number 11, huge, huge, huge. I think number 11, get in shape. Your body and your mind are very much so connected. And if you don't take care of your body, your mind's going to be all over the place. You're not going to be able to run a successful business if you can't even keep your body in shape. Doesn't mean you have to be, the best bodybuilder, super in shape. Just take care of your health. Go on walks, lift some weights, get some cardiovascular exercise, get out and move and be a healthy version of yourself. Stretch. That's one thing that I would put on the opposite list that I wish I did before I was 27, was stretch. It sounds like a very old man thing to say, but I'm stretching now. I'm starting to stretch, and that'll probably be on the list of like things I'm glad I did before I turned 30. Because I've definitely got more tight as you start to lift and gain muscle and stuff. If you don't stretch, you become so tight. So get in shape, take care of your body, stretch for sure. Number 12, finding a passion. Now, this is something that might seem a little like not super important early on, because you're like, dude, I just need to fucking make money, or I just need to figure out this living situation. I need to move out. I need to, there's a bunch of life problems. But I think as you progress in life, and if you're really truly honest with yourself and put in hard work, you're eventually going to be fine financially. You're eventually going to be, a lot of the things are taken care of. And then what's left is being passionate about something, working towards a greater mission than just more money or more nicer things and stuff. So finding a passion, and this is one thing that, I'm still working on too. Like I have created Creator Pass to help other creators, create a life of freedom and stuff. And that's something that I'm super passionate about is, creating content and inspiring people, but then also helping people do it. And I think having a passion is something that even when you're not financially doing well, or maybe you're doing well and the numbers don't really matter anymore, can keep you going even when it feels hopeless. With that, number 13, discover a greater mission, a reason to wake up for. It's very similar to your passion, but if you have a grander goal than just a endable number in the bank account or a possession that you want to own or some goal that can like really end, then once you hit it, there'll be this really big dopamine spike and you'll be on cloud 9. And then months following, you'll be in this really low period because you've set so much expectation on this one goal and it's incredible that you've hit it, but then you have nothing else to work for. So having a greater mission to work towards that's like almost impossible to fully accomplish is huge. With all of that, number 14 is reach financial independence. And there's different stages of this. Like I think there's people that like want to only be able to live off their investments. More so for me is something that I'm really grateful that I did in my before 27 is I have no desire to stop working and stop making money. So I don't really like just live off my investments, but have enough financial independence that I don't have to stress about making money so I can do it in a way that I really genuinely enjoy. And I think that's something I'm super, super grateful for because I see people complain about their jobs and stuff online all the time. And I just can't relate. And it's truly amazing. I'm super grateful and fortunate about it. And it sounds funny to say, but I mean, I've been there. I've had shit jobs. I've not enjoyed it. But nowadays it's like the amount of work I do to the amount of money I get paid to how much I enjoy it ratio is just so insane that I'm so glad I did that. It's definitely up there on the list of like the most important things I did. Number 15 is coming to the understanding that money will not fulfill you forever. It's a huge one. I think I've recently found my faith in Jesus Christ, and I have, leaned into relationships and friends and family and a lot of other things than just chasing money that I did so early in my early 20s just because there was such a lack of it. But when you then get it, you go through this almost next period of like, oh shit, now what do I do? So finding that out early on in life is truly a blessing, I believe, because there are for sure people that I see that are just chasing a number on a screen or a newer car, a nicer house. And that's a really exhausting, never-ending game. And I think it's cool to still go for goals and stuff, but having a understanding that it's not the end all be all is huge because you can really make decisions for your life based around that. And then one day wake up 60 with no friends or family and be like, fuck, I have $60 million, but like, this isn't it. I don't know. I can imagine. I haven't done it, but I can imagine that's how a lot of people that have a bunch of money feel if they don't understand that money's not the only thing. Let's see. We are in number 16. Own fewer things and collect more experiences. This is something that as I have got older, really started to resonate with. I read this book, Die with Zero. I forgot the author's name, but it's a really, really great book. I'd highly recommend everyone to read it. It's basically the author's philosophy is die with $0 in your bank account. And at first it seems really, really backwards, but he's basically saying that experiences that you can buy with money are more valuable than money, especially later in life, because that's all you truly have. There's things that, when you're 70, you just can't do. You can't climb Mount Everest when you're 70. If you wanted to do it and you wait till you have enough money and it's when you're older, but you're old and you can't climb the mountain, you can no longer do it. The money doesn't matter, right? So I try to collect as many experiences as possible because not only can you live that experience today, but you can relive it through telling stories for the rest of your life. It's very similar to investing, right? Like when you invest in the stock market, your money compounds in year over year and over year. So you invest $10 a day and it's like $100 in 10 years, right? Or whatever. And same thing with experiences. You can live that story today and then tell it to your friends and then tell it to your kids and tell it to your grandkids. Very similar to how I was talking about the Hollywood Hills story that I did now 4 years ago. And I've told so many people it, and it's something I'm so glad I did. And it's an experience that literally didn't cost me anything, was free basically. And I'm so grateful I have it. One thing that I think about a lot when spending money is like, is this going to give me a good experience really? And if the answer is yes, then I'll buy it. Number 17, find hobbies that make you interesting. This is something that I woke up one day after locking in, after building my business, and it was like, okay, cool. I started making money online, all these things. Like I got some stuff going for me. Oh, I'm not interesting at all. Like I didn't have any hobbies or anything that I really truly enjoyed. And just leaning more into that has been amazing. Like simple things like snowboarding or reading, going on walks, playing chess. Like there's just a bunch of like random little hobbies I have nowadays that make you slightly more interesting, and you can hold conversations with people and share your interests and not just be like everyone else. You know, develop some interests and hobbies that you have that make you unique, but then that you can also relate to people with. With that, number 18 is getting around a strong community. And this can be so many different things. You know, I think having a strong friend community that push you to be better. I think having a community in your gym is amazing to push you to show up and hold yourself accountable. I think having a community in business is amazing. Being around the right people is so much of my success and makes me enjoy life so much more. Community is everything. I think it's one of the most important things. It's literally why I built Creator Pass, because I realized when I was kind of building my business, I was around a lot of really cool creators that were now my friends, and that helped me out so much. And I wanted to help other people have that, but also just selfishly, like have a sick community of creators that are all crushing it, building businesses of their dreams and living a life of freedom. We literally have a WhatsApp group chat and we talk in there like all the time, like throughout the day, and just seeing people do cool stuff like flying out to LA or going to Nashville or, you know, hosting events, making money, you know, simple wins like moving into a new apartment across the country. Like we have guys doing all of this stuff. Torsten literally just moved to Tampa. Patrick is traveling to LA and then Nashville. Chris moved into his dream apartment in LA. Phoebus had a $25,000 a month. Like there's just so many cool wins and it's very inspiring. And these are just things that have happened in the last month. And it's something that like has really, really been eye-opening and motivating to be around a bunch of creators that are doing cool stuff. Getting around a strong community is huge. Now, number 19 is very similar to that, and sometimes they can be in the same thing or sometimes it can be different, is finding a mentor. This is something that I pushed off for a while, but I'm so glad I did. Finding mentors is something that I'm going to do forever now. It's something that if there's someone out there that has done what you want to do, right? Get around them. Figure out some way. If it's paying them to be around them, if it's doing something in exchange to be around them. Like if there's someone out there that's done what you've done, surround yourself with them because they know so much about the thing that you can't even imagine. I've paid for mentorship. I've had mentors in life that, you know, just are being around community-wise have been mentors, and it's something that I'm so super, super grateful for, and it's one of the most undervalued things ever. Most of the successful people in business and in life have mentors actively and have also had them in the past. With that, an easier stepping stone, number 20, is read books. This is like so mind-blowing to me. I grew up and I was never a reader. I didn't enjoy reading. I never read the books that they told us to in school. I would Spark Notes them and basically just, you know, summarize the book and not actually read it. And it wasn't until I actually started reading books that I enjoyed about like self-improvement in business that I was like, this is the fucking cheat code. Like, it's insane. It doesn't make sense, but it's really like when you think about books, oftentimes these people that are massively successful live their whole life, do something really, really great, and then condense all of their knowledge into a 300-page book that they charge $10, $15 for. It's literally the best investment you can ever make. And it's something that I have started doing more and more and more in my 20s. And the more I do, I feel like the more I learn, the more well-versed I am, the more ideas I have. And yeah, there's a huge list of books that I'd recommend. I'll actually toss it down below, just like a link or something with a bunch of books if I remember, because I think it's honestly, reading the right books is so huge, and it's something that I will continue to do forever. Number 21, this is kind of in the community and the mentor thing, is spending time with old people. I think this is something that I haven't heard many people give this advice, but I think it's really cool. It's really cool to spend time with old people, like your grandparents, or I haven't done this, but I think even going to a retirement home would be a cool way to do that if you don't have grandparents anymore. But you can just hear so many cool stories and different ways of life. And I think oftentimes there's a lot of really great advice in there. I think there's sometimes some bad advice in there, but it really makes you appreciate life. And I don't know, I think old people have some of the coolest stories and some of the greatest advice. And I've been grateful every single time I spend time with old people. Number 22 is staying creative, creating different ways, whether it be writing, drawing, video, photo, audio. I think staying creative is just such a really cool thing that is like deeply masculine, that like isn't really portrayed as masculine a lot of times, but it's the masculine urge to like build something, to create something. And being creative is that, but in like a more artistic way. And yeah, it's something that if you go down the business road and stuff, sometimes it can be suppressed or moved to the side. But I think deep down, we're all kind of creators and creatives to some extent. And it's something that I love doing. Whenever I create a video or draw or write, it just is inspiring and fun. So do something creative. Now, number 23, this is a tricky one, but build something that outlives you. And I think this is something that I wrote right after the do something creative, because I think oftentimes it doesn't need to be this massive grand thing with like huge legacy, but it's like building things that will be seen for generations and help people. And even if it's just your story, if it's your message, helping one person, maybe they pass that down to their kids, and doing something that benefits the world for a while is really cool. I don't really have a specific example of something that I've built that like outlives me, other than helping other creatives and impacting their lives. And I don't know, maybe like my editing pack being used in a Netflix movie, like that movie will be around forever, right? So stuff like that, creating art, putting stuff out, is really cool. Now, number 24, this is so huge. And this is something that I think I was just naturally good at because I was an only child, but learn to be alone without being lonely. I think some of the best ideas I ever have, some of the greatest ideas, some of the most peaceful times, the times I make the most progress and feel the best, is when I'm alone. I also love being around people, but learning to be alone with your thoughts without blaring music or watching a video on YouTube or scrolling on TikTok, but truly just being alone, going to a park and sitting there and thinking and writing, or just in your room or in your shower, whatever, is learning to be alone and being okay with it. Because being able to be in tune with your thoughts and how you're feeling is a very powerful thing. It's how I've come up with some of my greatest ideas. It's how I deal with stressful times. And yeah, it's easy to always be consuming something and never spend time with yourself. Number 25, we're getting towards the end. Taking care of your health early. It's very similar to what I said earlier, but I think more so on the getting good sleep is something that I just fucking did not care about early on. But I started caring about in my early 20s. I would stay up like super late and play video games, and just not get sleep and not eat well. And, I had acne and I was puffy and I felt bad. And yeah, no wonder why I was literally not sleeping and not fueling my body properly. So learning the basics of nutrition and sleep and movement. Some great piece of advice, just really quick. If you eat whole foods, most eliminate as many things that have a whole bunch of ingredients. Good starting point. Drink water, and pretty much only water. Maybe some juices if you want, with no added sugar. Sleep 8 hours, and then get like 10,000 steps. But you don't need to be like super crazy about it. There's people online, they're like, I need to get exactly 10,000 and only eat whole foods. It's like, live your life, but like that's a good general rule. I'm not saying be a Nazi about it. Number 26, detach your identity from success. So I think doing things and not having to be successful at it is really, really empowering, because then it allows you to actually be successful at it. Be confident as a person. And I think a lot of the things on the list that I listed before this help you feel that inner peace and confident as a person, regardless if you have money or in shape or whatever. If you do all those things, you'll probably actually end up having it. But if you lose it for a little bit, you're confident. Like if I get out of shape, I'm like, okay, I know I can get back. I'm cool. Like detaching that identity to having to have a certain outcome. And then number 27, keep reinventing yourself. I think this is something that's so challenging. It's really easy to be in that familiarity, just do what you did before. But when you travel the world or move to a different country or to a different city or start a new business or start to read or start a new hobby, it forces you to be this version of yourself that you're no longer the past version, and it forces you to upgrade. And anytime I feel like I'm getting too comfortable, I try to look for like a bigger change that I can make in my life, not to disrupt anything, but to force myself to constantly grow and learn. One of the biggest things I think I've done that's helped me out a lot is just failing. I wish I failed more in my 20s. Like the more I can fail, the more I can learn, and you can do it so quickly. So keep reinventing yourself. But that's the list of the 27 things I'm super grateful I did in my 20s before I turned 27. And I think you would be really glad if you did it too. It's something I think all people should try doing before they're 27. And I still got 3 years left in my 20s, so I got a lot of my 20s left. But these are 27 things that I was glad I did before I turned 27. Sending much love. If you want to join Creator Pass, link will be down below. Peace.